the individual is something to value over the group is directly related and traceable back to this idea of divinity as coming alive in each and every person, or a spark of divinity that was primarily developed by the Christian and the Jewish and Semitic religions. And so if we don't realize how much those secularized and abstracted away notions rely on fundamentally religious processes, then we are basically like like people on a ship that doesn't have a captain nor a map of the terrain, and we're just basically coasting along with virtual reality headsets on, thinking that we're making progress towards the new land. And so that's not a recipe for anything good.
Right.
So that's one side of it, and the other side is not only like taking those wisdom traditions and helping us understand their value, but also looking at what the current psychological and therapeutic and the scientific literature lets us conclude about what are good steps to take in your personal life, to start making progress towards what you yourself deem valuable. This is one of the key components. The goals need to be chosen by you, not by somebody else. If you are an unwitting participant in ideology, or even a witting participant in ideology, and you let a singular other person's pronouncement of what's important in the world overshadow and suppress your own capacity to generate that yourself, then you're basically just acting out the will of dead people. I mean, the term slogan itself is, I believe, Irish or Welsh, and says a dead person's words or something like that, like a dead person's sentences. And so when you just use slogans, you're basically just, as they say, an NPC, right? So, and I think this is actually the next step to look at in terms of how can we square or bring these two.
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,502. Silver at $16.96. And Bitcoin is trading around $10,930. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, the morning of Jeffrey Epstein's death, shouting and shrieking could be heard from his jail cell, according to CBS News, while guards attempting to revive him were saying, "Breathe, Epstein, breathe." The Mind Unleashed reports that Epstein, who was reportedly in good spirits recently, meeting with his lawyers for up to 12 hours a day to discuss his case, was found hanging in his lower Manhattan jail cell with a bedsheet around his neck, which was reportedly secured to the top of a bunk bed. On Monday, Attorney General William Barr said the Epstein case was personally important to him and that the prison had, quote, serious irregularities, end quote. Notably, the staff at MCC reportedly violated prison protocol by failing to check on the high-profile inmate every 30 minutes. Epstein, whose defense attorney successfully lobbied for him to be taken off suicide watch about a week before he was found dead, was also supposed to have a cellmate. In a rare show of bipartisanship, the House Judiciary Committee has sent a letter to the acting director of the Bureau of Prisons demanding answers. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Farmers facing record bankruptcies and collapsing incomes due to President Donald Trump's escalating trade war with China were not amused by U.S. Agriculture Secretary Sonny Perdue's joke about their economic pain during an event in Minnesota last week. Perdue told an audience of thousands of farmers gathered in a barn near Morgan, Minnesota, quote, "I had a farmer tell me this in Pennsylvania." And then the punchline, quote, "What do you call two farmers in a basement? A wine cellar," end quote. Some laughed at the Agriculture Secretary's joke, but other farmers booed and denounced Perdue's wisecrack as callous and tone-deaf mockery of the real hardship caused by the Trump administration's trade policies. Perdue's characterization of struggling farmers as whiners came after the Trump administration announced it will impose a 10% tariff on $300 billion of Chinese goods starting September 1st, a significant escalation in the ongoing trade war between the two global powers. It looks as though something big was taking place around Area 51 over the weekend, according to fragmented reports from various sources compiled by The Drive. The Mind Unleashed reports that the report notes that significant tests could have been happening over the weekend after learning that notices to airmen had been published that mark certain areas within the Nevada Test and Training Range off limits to any air traffic at any altitude. The notices to airmen are generally for military air crews, not civilian or commercial air traffic. They were first pointed out by an aviation enthusiast on Twitter. In addition to the notices, there were also reports of odd Janet flights, the nickname for the nonstop flights to Area 51 from Las Vegas's airport by onlookers. This activity was described as unusual and is speculated to be indicative of a major test event near Area 51. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
The Dick Cheney Vice Presidential Library opens in a pitch-dark, sulfurous underground cave, and a seedless watermelon is coming to grips with the fact it'll never be able to have kids. This is the Onion Week in Review. Following a litany of tragedies occurring over the past year, a report this week from scientists at Princeton University confirmed that 90% of the Earth's atmosphere is now made up of thoughts and prayers. Researchers confirmed that with the rise of tragic events occurring all across the world each and every day, the Earth's atmosphere is 7% nitrogen, 3% oxygen, and 90% emotional pleas begging for everything to be okay. In other news, a new study finds nothing that will actually convince you to change your lifestyle, so just forget it. UMass Dartmouth is beginning to regret offering a course in applied domestic terrorism, and a sparrow thinks it might have caught the bird flu after puking seeds all morning. Stay tuned after the video for a brief tear in the fabric of space-time, offering a glimpse at next week's Onion Review. And keep checking theonion.com for more.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. That's the number you can call to get on the air with us. The us I'm referring to is myself, Chris.
Hey, I'm Ian.
And Riley.
Riley Blake, welcome back to the studio.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be back here. This is my third time doing Free Talk Live during my trip.
3 times?
Yep.
Have they got you on the payroll yet? Did you go downstairs and talk to HR yet?
Not yet.
Have you taken the mandatory urinalysis tests that we have here?
Wait,
Free Talk Live.
There's a urinalysis test?
Yes.
I had no idea.
Yeah, Chris will watch you do it too.
Oh, wow.
Actually, if we don't find anything, you're out of here, young man. That's how it works.
Okay, got it.
But Riley Blake does the daily digest for Free Talk Live. What that is for people that are into podcasts, right? Free Talk Live has put out a podcast forever. You can go to, what's the good address?
Feeds.freetalklive.com.
And you can download the show. You can download last year's show. You can download an episode from 5 years ago.
Or even as far back as 2006.
That's right, yeah.
It's really cool, but not everybody has 3 hours to stay up to date on what's going on Free Talk Live. So the Daily Digest is a curated version of that. Riley goes through each and every episode.
Even while he's on vacation.
Yeah, pretty much.
Even on vacation. He condenses it down so you can get the gist of what we were talking about and any particular notable moments. In about a half hour, and that's really, really cool, and we seriously appreciate his efforts in that. And for those of you who don't know, I know you don't, Riley can't see me at all.
Right.
And it's not just because I'm in the other side of the studio, it's because he's a blind guy. We were talking before, and I think I referred to you as visually challenged. That sounds like a really PC way to say blind.
It does sound like a very politically correct way to say blind. I prefer blind myself.
Okay, I was about to ask.
Yeah, and you were quick to point that out. Say, hey, I just prefer blind. Okay,
right.
So
unsighted.
Unsighted.
That sounds like another politically correct term.
Yeah, we could probably spend a whole show coming up with politically incorrect ways to say common things.
Right.
But Riley is blind. It does not stop him. It does not even slow him down. Last year, he was out here in New Hampshire, in Keene, New Hampshire, where our show is broadcast from, and we took him shooting. You know, what do you do with a blind guy when he visits? Yeah, you hand him an AR-15. What could go wrong? Of course, nothing did because the basics of firearms, Riley already knew.
Yeah.
He had shot 22s and stuff like that, and shot pistols and all kinds of stuff. And have you done anything out of the ordinary like that?
Not yet. Hopefully, before the end of this trip, I will.
And is it still the driving plan?
So far.
Good. I hope that works out. And I'm sure we can locate some areas that will be good for you to practice your driving skills.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's not going to be long before you're absolutely going to be able to drive. I'm not going to say drive and steer, but autonomous cars. Will there be a sight requirement if he were to get a Tesla, for example?
That's a good question. Early on, I would think yes, because you'll probably be required to be behind the wheel of the autonomous vehicle, at least for some amount of years, until the government finally gets paid enough money to allow these companies to, have autonomous vehicles that have no steering wheels and no pedals and no way to intervene if things are going wrong.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. And then
it also sounds scary to me.
Then it brings up the children.
It sounds kind of scary to me because I don't know if I really want to trust my directions to a computer or driving to a computer. It takes the human element out of things, and I like the human element, I guess.
I agree with that.
If it worked perfectly, it'd be fantastic, right? Like, if it was a completely bug-free experience, if none of these things ever went down the wrong road, went careening off a cliff or ran into a pedestrian or something like that, if those things never happened,
and if they knew how to solve the trolley problem well,
then if those things never happened, then it would be an incredibly efficient driving experience because part of the reason why traffic jams occur is because of looky-loos, where people are eyeballing what's going on. There's been an accident or something, and people are looking at it. They slow down.
Sure.
The computer would not be subject to those sorts of things, and computers could basically ride one another's tails relatively close, much closer at higher speeds, much closer than humans can, because their reaction time would be much faster.
Right.
So it could be more efficient if it were bug-free, but we know it's not going to be bug-free because it's made by humans.
Right.
Exactly.
And not only that, but it's going to have a set of standards that are set by the government. It's not that we couldn't do all sorts of things with automobiles and driving in labs, and I'm sure Tesla's doing these things now. And I'm sure they come up with some really cool idea. Like you said, autonomous tailgating at high speeds. And I'm sure they just sit there and go, oh, that'd be so cool. But government will never go for that.
Right.
So that means, I'm not saying the government just won't let it happen. That means that a smart company like Tesla will cease to funnel funds into that line of research because, hey, government's never going to approve it anyway, so we're not going to spend the money.
If they get paid off enough, they'll probably approve it.
Well, that's what it comes down to, right?
That's what it always comes down to with them.
Yeah, but my point is, it's an impetus, and that is slowing down technology. And
governments always slow down progress. I wish people would realize that government is this organization that's pretty much a gang that's claiming this monopoly privilege of violence in this given geographical landmass that calls itself America, and they just want to slow down progress.
Yeah, but they're just trying to keep you safe, Riley. I mean, they're just worried about people, and they just want to make sure you stay alive so you can keep paying them.
I understand the argument, but at the same time, this organization doesn't keep people safe. In fact, kills more people than anybody else does.
855-450-FREE, that's our toll-free number.
I can't
you're right.
say anything to that. It's true.
It is true. That's our toll-free number. No, but Riley's
we also have
exactly
Discord,
right.
just so everyone knows, discord.lrn.fm.
Which you can't get on, right? Because it's not accessible, apparently?
Parts of it are not accessible. I can access some of it. All right. At least I can get into the on-air call-in rooms.
Oh, you can? Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Have you gone into the chat rooms?
A little bit, but they're hard to access.
Have you tried the not safe for work troll zone or whatever it's called?
I don't go there. I don't
Doesn't
want to go
wanna
to the
get
toxic
threatened.
user zone. I don't need to be threatened.
I've only been there once, and I don't think you want to go there.
No, if you go in there, there's a good chance James is going to threaten you.
Yeah.
Yes, we do have some of our most hateful trolls on display there. But it is interesting. I just get back to this idea of driving and why can't we do things? I remember a book. I hate Chris Reitman always brings up books on the air. It was called The Third Millennium.
It's because you're educated and cultured.
I'm sorry. It was called The Third Millennium. It was a coffee table sort of book. It was written, I think, in 1984, 1985. I remember it because it had a hologram of a Nautilus on the cover, and it was one of the first books I'd ever seen that had a hologram on it. This was a fiction of a history book that was written in the year 3000, looking back at the last 1,000 years. It was a history of this, and one of the early things that happened in the 21st century in this book was the rise of autonomous vehicles, and how one of the first stories was about a daredevil. She was female, but she got into an autonomous vehicle and allowed it to drive her across the country. She was like a stunt woman.
Wow.
But she gained lots of fame for trusting her life all the way across the country to this car. I thought that was kind of interesting. I think it's kind of interesting given where Tesla's gone and autonomous driving.
Coming up, you've got a story, Chris, about some people getting targeted out of their home.
They are getting out of their house because government says to get them out of the house.
It's for their own safety, of course, right? It's just all about
isn't. They
them.
didn't do anything wrong. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years with experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855 450 free. That's free as in freedom, free as in Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. That's our toll-free number. That's the number you call to get on the radio and change the subject. We've been talking about autonomous cars and getting this blind guy behind the wheel, which we think's a good idea. In studio, it's myself, Chris.
I'm Ian.
Riley.
And Riley is our blind friend. We want to get him behind the wheel while he's out here in New Hampshire.
Exactly. That's going to be fun.
But first, I want to tell you about the Edge wallet.
And with no seatbelt on.
Oh, perfect.
Well, it's not illegal in New Hampshire, so we might as well do it, right?
No law saying that. You don't even have to wear a helmet. Of course, that more applies to motorcycles, but there is no law saying you have to wear a helmet while you're driving a car in New Hampshire. Of course, it doesn't apply much anywhere. But the Edge wallet, I helped two people today install the Edge wallet.
Really?
Yeah. Two new users.
Awesome.
To our Bitcoin vending machine at Bitcoin Embassy, New Hampshire. Neither of them had it, so I walked them through what was nice about it. And it used to be when I talked people into installing a crypto wallet, it was a long ordeal because they had to write down 12
words,
24 words, and all this good stuff. With Edge, you create a username and a password, and that's how your crypto is encrypted to you. It means you don't have to remember 12 words like you used to back when I was a kid.
Nobody can remember those. I mean, I guess somebody with a photographic memory or whatever could remember the 12 words, but it's usually best to write those things
Yeah, you don't
down.
want to lose your funds. You are pretty much your own bank once your crypto wallet's installed in your...
But then what happens for some people is if they get like one set of 12 words, but then they have another wallet and they get another set of 12 words and they didn't write down which wallet goes with which 12 words, then they can get a little confused about which 12 words goes where, and it can get a little bit dicey for them trying to restore a wallet. And Edge Wallet doesn't suffer from that problem.
Does not. The problem people do is then they do what you absolutely should not do from a security point of view, which is you take a screenshot of it, or you put it on Google Drive, or something like that.
That is not secure.
And you do all these non-secure things. Edge Wallet makes it much easier. Edge Wallet is available on iOS and Android platforms. Both people today were Android, and that was just nice and easy. You can buy, sell, trade, and securely hold cryptocurrencies. It's user-controlled. Like I said, if you have a username and password to your wallet, you own your own money. There's support for Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Stellar, and many, many more. I successfully added a Ethereum token to Edge Wallet. I've never done that before, but that was very simple, straightforward.
One of our listeners was elated to discover that Edge Wallet has an exchange feature built into it as well. So if you have, Bitcoin Cash and you want to turn it into Dash or vice versa or whatever, you can do that stuff with Edge.
Very cool. Yeah. Edge is built by a veteran team. They've been building software since 2014. Their tagline, secure your freedom. You can find out more at edge.app. That's edge.app. And I also wanted to thank somebody real quick, and we've been lax on this, but Barry is a silver amplifier.
Thanks, Barry.
Nice.
Thanks, Barry. What is an amplifier? Amplifier is someone who is a member of the Free Talk Live Amplifiers program. Those are people that don't dedicate themselves to pitching in at least $5 a month to help us advertise, market, and promote Free Talk Live.
Which everyone should do because this is such a great show.
Well, thank you.
That's awfully nice.
And not just the nights that I'm on. It's generally good all the time. But thank you very much, Barry, for kicking in. You can find out more at amp.freetalklive.com.
Excellent.
So I've got this story, and it kind of bothered me when I saw the headline, but this is the headline, and see if you're somewhat aggravated by this. City wants to force landlord to evict family who did nothing wrong.
That's a little aggravating.
City.
All right, they've got it. Everybody's done something.
Yeah, exactly,
wrong.
Man. Come on, dude. Tell us what they did wrong.
3 felonies a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody commits some law not because people are inherently bad, but because we have 80, 100,000 plus lines, pages in the federal code. You can follow Crime a Day on Twitter. And
by the way, I'm being facetious. Just because you break the law doesn't mean you've done anything wrong.
Right.
This is true.
Yeah.
And what is a crime? A crime is when you've done something that caused somebody else's rights to be impacted.
That's what it should be.
That's what it should be. That's not always
That's not
the
how
case.
they define it, though.
Now, when you hear the word banishment, you probably think of medieval punishment where a criminal
Is this Institute for Justice?
Yes, it's come to us from IJ, Institute for Justice. Originally there, this article is from Forbes.
Ah, okay.
When you hear the word banishment, you probably think of a medieval punishment. You know, the criminal gets banished from the city.
Right.
He's got to go outside the walls and told never to return. For the ancient Romans, upper-class convicts faced banishment as their punishment rather than forced servitude. Banishment of English criminals was done en masse from the 17th to 19th centuries with the first Americans, with first America, and after America filled up, they sent them on to Australia.
They do that in Escape from New York, too. Great movie.
To serve as penal colonies. But now banishment is making a comeback in the United States under the name of, quote, crime-free housing, unquote, policy. Crime-free housing policies. James Barron and Kenny Wiley found out about Granite City, Illinois' policy when police officers knocked on their door and informed them that they were being evicted for a crime neither they nor anyone in their family committed. Jessica and Kenny have 3 teenage children and an open door policy for their children's friends. This past winter, one of their friends, a 19-year-old man who was homeless and had claimed that his mother had passed away, started spending a few nights a week at Jessica and Kenny's home. This past May, the young man committed a burglary at a local restaurant. When Jessica discovered that he was attempting to hide out from police in their home's crawl space, she turned him in. Rather than being,
oh my God.
Rather than being thanked for helping the police make a successful arrest, several weeks later, officers were on the family's doorstep with an eviction notice.
That's absolutely ridiculous. So
wow.
The family is being punished for a crime that someone committed while living at their house.
Not even. He was hiding under their house, evading the police.
And they turned him in, and they went after them anyway.
They went after. Under the city's crime-free housing ordinance, the police declared that the young man had been a resident of Jessica and Kenny's home, and that their landlord, therefore, had to evict them. But that landlord, Bill Campbell, he doesn't want to evict the family. He has a rent-to-own agreement with Jessica and Kenny and considers them good tenants. The city government is trying to banish a family from its home and deprive a landlord of his tenants, all for a criminal act that none of them had anything to do with. Is this insane?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yes, it's totally
crazy.
insane.
Yet probably not the craziest thing we'll talk about. We'll find out more. 855 450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
Do you ever feel like no matter how free your country becomes, you aren't free? You're stuck in your job, a stressful business, or maybe a relationship, all of which where you're not allowed to do what you really want to do. There's another way to live. I'm Caleb Jones, and my staff and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income, location-independent businesses, and how to date women under your terms. Go to freelifeinfo.com to download 7 free books and podcasts so you can live a life like this too.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. It's bitcoin.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Never, ever send a follow-up email asking, "Did you get my email?" Email 101. If it didn't bounce back undeliverable, it got where you sent it. And avoid transmedia pestering, like calling to ask, "Did you get my email?" or emailing to say, "I left you a voicemail." If your emails and voicemails aren't being acknowledged, your problem isn't technology, it's technique. Is your message concise and understandable? Have you boiled it down to seem as relevant as possible to the recipient? In other words, is it the opposite of spam or junk mail? All of this really matters if you're a job seeker. But even if you're not, with money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. And we are talking about one of those stories that just makes you go, I thought we lived in a free country. At least that's what people like to say. You think that you've got a Bill of Rights, or more to the point, and a friend of mine came up with this. 10th Amendment Center, Mike Meharry's a really good guy over there, but he just wrote a terrific article, and he referred to the Bill of Rights as the Bill of Restrictions.
Which it's supposed to be a Bill of Restrictions on the government.
Exactly. Do you know what the Second Amendment grants you? It doesn't grant you anything. It has nothing to do with firearms other than it mentions it. The First Amendment doesn't grant you the right to free speech or to grant you the right to practice your religion as you see fit.
How could it? How could other human beings, if we are indeed all created equal, how could they grant you something that
they
we
don't
already
possess?
Yeah, right. Like, do they have it and we don't have it, or do we all have it?
But if you listen, particularly the gun debate, you will hear that sort of thinking. The idea that, well, you know, government grants you this right, and if you're a good boy, you can have a gun to go duck hunting with. But this idea, we need to fight back against this belief that government grants us things.
Government does not grant you anything. Your rights are inherent.
Now, government can provide things for you if
Sure.
you're a sucker and you want to go for it.
Not that it hasn't taken from other people first, though.
Right.
Good point.
Yeah.
Government has nothing. The only thing it has, nothing government owns is earned. Government exists on the stolen goods of others, and that's all it is. And here, a city wants to tell a landlord who he can rent to. And they want to tell a family that they have to get out. Just to recap, this is a story coming to us from Illinois, Granite City specifically, and they have what is called a crime-free housing policy, which just sounds insane because how do you eliminate crime completely? Sure, just don't build any housing, and then people will go somewhere else.
Right, and then if there's no housing, there won't be any crime. See, problem solved.
Exactly. Jessica Barron and Kenny Wiley, they've been renting from this guy. They have
Renting
been
to own.
Yeah. This guy offered them a rent-to-own agreement, which they've been following along. He doesn't want them out of the house.
I'd like to know what that looks like. Like, you know, the government's coming after this guy, this landlord, the owner, and they're saying, okay, you have to evict these people or else. So I don't know what the or else side of it's going to be. Are they going to just seize the house entirely? Will they charge him with a criminal act if he doesn't do what he's told to do? Will it be contempt of court? Will it be from a judge's order, or is this just the police utilizing some sort of law? So I'm unfamiliar with this particular statute or ordinance or whatever it is that allows this to happen. But if indeed this guy does issue the eviction notice, who violated the rent-to-own agreement here? Because it's not like the people fell behind in their payments. They've been good tenants, he says. They've been making payments. He wants to sell them this house. He didn't want to evict them. It was a third party. The government gang came in there and just basically broke it up. So when you're renting to own, you're making rent payments, as I understand it. I've never done this, but you're making rent payments to an owner, and a portion of that money goes down basically towards down payments on principal of a loan, essentially.
So Colleen and I did a rent when we lived in Pennsylvania, and it was just that. We paid our rent, and our landlord agreed to apply a portion of what we were renting to purchasing the home. So it basically provided a down payment. And then, at the end of it, that was it. And then we started dealing with mortgage companies and all that good stuff. It was a great time to buy a house,
and if you were,
by the way. It was 2006. Yeah. Things were just going up.
Yeah, and if you were to abandon the lease or the rent-to-own agreement, if you decided to change your mind, then the landlord keeps all the money.
Absolutely.
Because you broke the agreement. But in this case, they didn't break the agreement. So what happens with all the payments they made?
Let's see if we can flesh this out. Under the city's crime-free housing ordinance...
Okay, so it is an ordinance.
Yes. The police declared that the young man had been a resident of Jessica and Kenny's home. And
even though residency, at least in New Hampshire, is supposed to be defined as something you choose. That the individual says, I want to be a resident here. Not that the police can just say, well, you're a resident because we said so.
This resident was hiding under Jessica and Kenny's home, trying to stay away from the cops, and they said that combined with the fact that he had spent a couple nights there
so the
as
skunks
a guest,
that live underneath my neighbor's home must be residents there too.
Are you getting rent from those skunks? You should. That the landlord therefore has to evict them, but the landlord, Bill Campbell, doesn't want to evict the family. Like Ian said, he has a rent-to-own agreement. They're good tenants. Government's trying to banish them and deprive the landlord of a good tenant, all for a criminal act. None of them had anything to do.
Right. So now you get to get kicked out of your home. You've been making payments. You have however much money you have at any given time. And we've read stories on the air here over the years about Americans, and many of them don't even have, $400 in savings. So, I mean, let's just presume that these folks are pretty typical. They may not have, having not planned to move, they may not have built up enough savings to be able to go out and just immediately rent another home. And I would hope they don't rent in Granite City ever again.
I wouldn't rent there.
But you just got kicked out. You're probably not going to get your security deposit back. Who knows? Maybe the guy will give him some money because he feels bad. But
he's under no obligation.
No, he's certainly not.
Yeah.
Where do they go? Are they going to go into the welfare housing at this point? Because, I mean, if you don't have a bunch of money to go and immediately pick up a new home, and you don't have family that's living right there to, snatch you up and give you a cot to sleep on or something like that, you're effectively out in the streets.
Exactly. And the government is doing this family a disservice, and the homeowner or the owner a disservice as well for limiting their ability to actually have a house.
It's a tragedy. Even medieval jurists would tell Granite City's police that was a poor way to control crime. The city is trying to force people out of their homes, but these are the same individuals are free to move anywhere else within the city. And there is nothing stopping the young man who had committed the crime from renting anywhere he wants within the city, including Jessica and Kenny's home, now that he has worked his way through the penal system. The city's efforts amount to nothing more but crime-fighting window dressing.
It's actually worse than that, because the guy who is the ostensible criminal, the 19-year-old who was hiding out, now that he's got a criminal record, and he may have had one prior to this, But now that he's got a criminal record, and now that more landlords are going to hear about this, right? Because if they didn't know about it before, they sure as hell are going to know about it, sooner or later, as they find out as more people are getting their houses taken from them, or more tenants are being forced to be evicted. No landlord is going to want to rent to this young man because, you cleaned your life up, did you, son? Well, I see that you've had this criminal record, and we don't know if you're going to recidivize, so therefore we would just feel better not renting to you at all.
Yeah, and I don't know if felons are protected against. There are certain laws keeping people from discriminating against a potential renter, but I don't know.
I suspect they are not protected from that, but that's a good question.
Yeah,
it is.
If you know, our toll-free number is 855-450 free like freedom.
We're going to get a little bit more into this. There's not much more.
If he can't find a house to rent, what's he going to do then?
He's going to live underneath Kenny and Jessica's house like he did before.
Yeah, there's no good solution here.
Hopefully he'll find somebody else's house to sleep under, but it's silly. And that's what government does. It comes up with silly. They are trying to, quote, make this area crime-free. You can't make someplace crime-free. It will not work. All it does is trample on the rights of landlords and people who rent. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Introducing Reveal from GCNLife.com. Beverly Hills dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman invented Reveal, which contains polypeptides with natural botanicals and no parabens, sulfates, silicones, or dyes for a salon-quality hair growth product. Reveal. Here's Dr. Newman.
I have treated a lot of patients who lose their hair and they lose their confidence. We've created a unique set of polypeptides, which we call HPT6. The HPT6 contains the polypeptides from 6 different plants. The scalp infusion treatment should be used on wet or dry scalp. The Reveal hair care system is designed to be used for men and women alike.
Get Reveal at GCNLife.com with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So try Reveal today at GCNLife.com or 844-443-6637. Plus a discount up to 25% off for Reveal at GCNLife.com or 844-443-6637.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Free Talk Live.
Who stopped her from sitting down?
People stop black people before Rosa Parks all the time. They used force. They used dogs. They used fire hoses. They brought in the National Guard. Come on, man. It's like you don't even know what happened in your own country.
To the present. You're talking about.
That's right, Mark. That's the past.
You have to be informed by history.
James, you've acknowledged that there's a bunch of bad laws today, but are you saying now that today that bad laws should be obeyed by good people?
Bad laws should be changed. And
but in the meantime,
you should not break them.
But in the meantime, you're saying obey all the bad laws, no matter what they say.
You need to obey the laws, yeah. The way that they are
like
written.
Rosa Parks should have.
Why don't you go kiss the boot?
All those slaves should have stayed off in their masters' houses. They shouldn't have escaped because that's illegal.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's free as in freedom, free as in no free lunch, Bernie Sanders. Free as in Free Talk Live, or 855-450-3733. That's our toll-free number. But first, I wanted to tell you about local.bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com, the website, has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy and sell Bitcoin Cash and via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. But you still can do that with Bitcoin Cash and local.bitcoin.com. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. I know we've got a lot of people in this area using it. That's local.bitcoin.com.
Yeah, I would say Keen's Free Talk Live co-hosts, including Aria and Nobody, are two of the top sellers on the site.
Absolutely, and there are all range of people who do it extremely casually, like myself. I had it out there, and I successfully completed a sale, which was kind of cool because I didn't really understand how this was going to work with putting it into basically a blind escrow. The seller and the buyer are both protected, and it really worked out pretty cool. I was impressed by what they've developed there.
Yeah, for their first couple months, I'd say it's a good start.
Yeah, I think they're doing well. We've been talking about this case out of Granite City, Illinois, where the idea that government can decide whether or not landlords have to evict people, and they can just show up. In this case, the police just showed up and said, "We've got an eviction notice." Oh, well, let me see that. Is it signed by my landlord? Oh, no, it's just signed by the city. You've got to get out of here. We say so. And this continues. Granite City didn't invent the idea of, quote, crime-free housing, unquote, policies. Similar ordinances exist all over the country. In some cases, they are voluntary. Others, like Granite City's, are mandatory. If the city tells a landlord to evict a family, the landlord faces grave penalties for refusing to comply. These laws originated in the context of public housing. Multiple housing units the government owns.
That was actually, before you got into this story, having not actually heard this before you brought it up, was going to be my first question was, well, is this, welfare housing, in which case they're under the government's roof, so the government can set all kinds of arbitrary restrictions. But that's not what's going on here.
This is a private home owned by a landlord.
Or so you thought.
Yeah.
You thought it was your private home.
Yeah, but, there's this pesky thing called property taxes that if you don't pay them, the government's going to take your house from you.
Yep.
They may take the house if this man doesn't obey them. Regardless of, he's probably paid his property taxes, but he's not. He doesn't want to get rid of his tenants. And so, what's going to happen to him if he just says, "Oh no, thanks for the recommendation. I'll be fine."
So, a crime-free city ordinance again has its roots in the housing units in government housing, in public housing. But Granite City is now upping that ante by forcing private property owners into the scheme.
Well, see, you agreed to it by moving to this arbitrary geographic landmass. See, you agreed to follow every arbitrary, stupid, and capricious rule that these bureaucrats lay down. Oh, yeah, you signed a contract, Riley.
Where is this contract?
Oh, Riley, you know
I want to
no
read this contract.
This is the one case where you don't get to read the contract. Government can do what it wishes. And in this case, it can do it ipso facto after you've been there. How long's this guy owned his home? This house he's renting, probably, let's just say 10 years. Let's say that the crime-free housing policies came in 5 years ago. Well, it doesn't matter. It's just the law now because we decided it was the law.
And that's what governments do best, is they just make up these arbitrary rules and force you to comply to their arbitrary rules without you consenting to them. Yeah, you may vote for these people, but that doesn't mean you consent to whatever they decide to do to you.
Or you may not. Crime-free housing policies have justifiably been running into legal trouble recently. This past year, the ACLU persuaded the city of Savannah, Georgia, to suspend its program. Police were instructing landlords to refuse to rent to anyone convicted of a nonviolent felony within the past 10 years or a misdemeanor within the past 5 years.
It's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
On the other side of the country, the Washington Attorney General is Washington State, is suing the city of Sunnyside, claiming that, like Granite City, tenants who have not been convicted of crimes have been evicted. Granite City's policy.
So in that case, the state attorney general is going after a city government within the state?
Yeah, telling them you've got to stop this. Granite City's policy is a clear violation of the 14th Amendment rights to due process and equal protection. The Constitution protects Americans from being punished for someone else's crimes.
Well, in theory.
In theory. The police are saying that Jessica and Kenny aren't saying that Jessica and Kenny had anything to do with their house guest crime.
No, if they did, they'd charge them.
Exactly.
As an accessory.
It's a purely charge by guilt of association. That's all they're guilty of, guilt by association. This is why the Institute for Justice,
all right,
yay, we like those guys, has stepped in to sue Granite City and keep Jessica and Kenny in their house. The rights secured by the Constitution protect against the excesses of medieval justice, trials by biased judges, cruel and unusual punishments, detention without any judicial process, and others. Hopefully the courts will strike down Granite City's cruel and senseless policy. Jessica and Kenny and the rest of their family did nothing wrong, and it's a travesty that the city is trying to make them homeless.
This is one of those situations where I would love to see the bureaucrats put under the spotlight.
Yeah, me too. I want to know exactly why they're engaging in this behavior. It's really going to be good to have them put under the spotlight.
Well, they won't be. I mean, because I'm just saying I would like to see that happen. But, these people, these bureaucrats behind the program probably aren't dumb enough to sit down with like John Stossel and actually have tough questions thrown at them about why are you trying to harm this innocent family.
I bet they won't even sit down with the local paper.
No.
Well, we covered that. We have a bi-weekly meeting. It's open to the public, and if we have time for comments, you can come. It's the standard runaround.
Mm-hmm.
What I would like to see the people of Granite City do is stay
Burn
on
City
these
Hall
guys.
down. Sorry, I don't mean
and I'll wager that these people, this law was put into place by elected officials, but I'll bet this is mostly the work of bureaucrats. They're not answerable to anyone.
No, they're not. I mean, they claim that they're answerable to you when you put them in power, but the bureaucrats generally aren't answerable to you.
Well, I'm going to say, I mean, if you have half a dozen police officers and some of them showed up there, those policemen, other than maybe their chief or the sheriff, they're not elected. They're bureaucrats with guns.
Exactly.
So I just don't, and it's tough when you run into a situation where you deserve answers, but there's no one there to take.
They have no obligation to answer your questions. They have no obligation to say anything whatsoever.
No.
You can ask.
And your state may have some laws allowing you to request information, but if you're Jessica and Kenny, it's kind of tough to file information requests when you're homeless because the government made you homeless. And I hope the landlord, Bill Campbell in this case, is on the side of this, and I hope,
sounds like he is. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that he gets something out of it too, because he's being wronged just as much as this couple.
I hope so too. And if you disagree with us and you're in favor of these bureaucrats, call us at 855-450-3733.
I would be shocked if anybody out there would ever dare to take the city's side on this.
I
would be shocked
before.
too.
Yeah, so have I, but I'm not gonna. I don't predict anybody's gonna call in, because you'd have to be the most callous, the most just cold, heartless person to take the city's side on this.
No, you might just not think it through. That's the whole point.
All
And
right.
that's what a lot of people. You're not on Facebook anymore.
Thank
Ian,
goddess.
this is what you lose: the appreciation for human insanity.
Our phones are open, though.
855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Coming up, fake toothpaste.
Ooh.
You're not a wild animal, and you shouldn't be tagged and tracked like one. Where you go and what you do every minute of the day, tracked and recorded by your mobile phone, is often more revealing than your browser history. And tech companies make a fortune selling your location history without your consent. GoDark bags prevent location tracking and protect your privacy by instantly blocking all cell phone, GPS, and Wi-Fi signals to your mobile device. Plus, they're durable, water-resistant, and built for a lifetime of protection. Visit GoDarkbags.com/FTL. That's GoDarkbags.com/FTL.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556, or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces, even within an IRA. 800-525-9556, ICAGoldSilver.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,502. Silver at $16.96, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,930. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, the morning of Jeffrey Epstein's death, shouting and shrieking could be heard from his jail cell, according to CBS News, while guards attempting to revive him were saying, "Breathe, Epstein, breathe." The Mind Unleashed reports that Epstein, who was reportedly in good spirits recently, meeting with his lawyers for up to 12 hours a day to discuss his case, was found hanging in his lower Manhattan jail cell with a bedsheet around his neck, which was reportedly secured to the top of a bunk bed. On Monday, Attorney General William Barr said the Epstein case was personally important to him and that the prison had, quote, serious irregularities, end quote. Notably, the staff at MCC reportedly violated prison protocol by failing to check on the high-profile inmate every 30 minutes. Epstein, whose defense attorney successfully lobbied for him to be taken off suicide watch about a week before he was found dead, was also supposed to have a cellmate. In a rare show of bipartisanship, the House Judiciary Committee has sent a letter to the acting director of the Bureau of Prisons demanding answers. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Farmers facing record bankruptcies and collapsing incomes due to President Donald Trump's escalating trade war with China were not amused by U.S. Agriculture Secretary Sonny Perdue's joke about their economic pain during an event in Minnesota last week. Perdue told an audience of thousands of farmers gathered in a barn near Morgan, Minnesota, quote, "I had a farmer tell me this in Pennsylvania." And then the punchline, quote, "What do you call two farmers in a basement? A wine cellar," end quote. Some laughed at the Agriculture Secretary's joke, but other farmers booed and denounced Perdue's wisecrack as callous and tone-deaf mockery of the real hardship caused by the Trump administration's trade policies. Perdue's characterization of struggling farmers as whiners came after the Trump administration announced it will impose a 10% tariff on $300 billion of Chinese goods starting September 1st, a significant escalation in the ongoing trade war between the two global powers. It looks as though something big was taking place around Area 51 over the weekend, according to fragmented reports from various sources compiled by The Drive. The Mind Unleashed reports that the report notes that significant tests could have been happening over the weekend after learning that notices to airmen had been published that mark certain areas within the Nevada Test and Training Range off limits to any air traffic at any altitude. The notices to airmen are generally for military air crews, not civilian or commercial air traffic. They were first pointed out by an aviation enthusiast on Twitter. In addition to the notices, there were also reports of odd Janet flights, the nickname for the nonstop flights to Area 51 from Las Vegas's airport by onlookers. This activity was described as unusual and is speculated to be indicative of a major test event near Area 51. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
According to a report released today, the vast majority of American children lack the presence of a strong, sculpted male supermodel, with less than 4% of youngsters being taught the important values of respecting runway etiquette, maintaining a glistening six-pack, and walking a catwalk with verve and flair.
The number of strong-jawed male supermodels in children's lives has declined to record lows, leaving the majority of our youth unaware of how to get comfortable in front of the camera during an underwear shoot, or even perform something as simple as a sexy but stylish full turn.
Stanton went on to say that impoverished communities were especially affected by the lack of Adonis-like male figures, and added that children in lower-class homes were over 80% less likely to grow into the type of high-cheekboned, studly he-men that succeed in haute couture society.
Quite frankly, these children are just not getting the necessary influence of a dynamic male supermodel who can both make puppy dog eyes at the camera and also radiate that sort of raw, unabashed machismo that forces fashionistas to look up and take notice.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number. That's 855-450-3733. Thank you so much for joining us for hour number 2 of our show.
Thank you so much for joining us. This is such a great show.
You and Riley, myself, Chris Reitman.
Hey, I'm Ian.
And I'm Riley.
Riley, you are just exuberant at being in studio.
I love being in studio. This is so much fun for me. Normally, I'm just a regular listener out in Utah. Now I'm here in New Hampshire on the show, so I'm excited.
He is vacationing in the Granite State this week.
That's right.
And he's been doing all kinds of fun stuff, part of which is getting to host Free Talk Live. And it's not like you don't listen to the show. We know you listen because you do the Daily Digest, a daily wrap-up of the previous night's show. And that's really cool for people who don't have time to listen to all 3 hours that we do every day. Riley boils it down to topics and makes it concise, and it sounds great. It's well produced. I appreciate that because I have no production skills. This is it, guys. This is what you get. It's that.
But you're doing a great job, Chris. I think you're doing an excellent job at running the show.
Well, I don't know about that, but I have fun. It gets me out of the house one day a week. But I do want to tell you about helpmetakebitcoin.com. Do you have a retail business and are you looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? If you're not, you should be, and it's never been easier thanks to helpmetakebitcoin.com. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet or something like that you can keep by your cash register, you're almost done. Just visit helpmetakebitcoin.com and follow the simple steps. Within moments, you'll be accepting cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Dash, Bitcoin SV, all sorts of things at your store. Get started now at helpmetakebitcoin.com. That's helpmetakebitcoin.com. Pretty slick little program. I mean, you can get those. These are the same folks that brought you AnyPay, and we use it in our store on I wouldn't say we use it daily, but
it's still AnyPay. They just have a better URL.
It is a good URL. Yeah. And it is really, really simple. I have a standard. If things are easy enough for my girlfriend to pick up, and it took all of like 5 seconds to train her on how to use it.
Oh, nice.
That's a winner. You don't need things at your cash register that are going to slow down people checking out. And you do want to accept cryptocurrency. That is something that is coming. You don't have to take my word for it.
I was just at the Indian restaurant this week doing a little tech support with them, and he's been doing pretty well. Even with just a few people buying with crypto, he'd come up to almost 4 digits in crypto.
That's amazing. That's really cool.
That is very cool. And that's the idea. If you know, cryptocurrency, I'm not gonna blow smoke and tell you that, you know, your business will grow by 90% because you accept cryptocurrency. We're not at that point yet. But the nice thing is, if you do accept crypto, that means you are beginning to accumulate some crypto. Now, there are solutions where you can certainly sell it and trade it into U.S. dollars if you need to. But what we've found is most businesses are banking it. They are going to hold on to crypto and see where the prices go.
And I think that's a great idea because you're not tying yourself to the Federal Reserve note, to the U.S. dollar, and you're keeping yourself out of the modern banking system.
We look forward to the day when we can just look back, not fondly. Remember those dollars we used to deal with? Remember how the government manipulated those things? Yeah. How you remember when you were a kid growing up, a loaf of bread was 15 cents, and by 2019 it cost almost $3 for a loaf of bread. What happened to all the buying power? We got away from the idea of using money that was sound money and started using paper money, and this is what you get. It also happens in Venezuela, and Ian, you've got a Venezuelan story for us, because there's always a story out of Venezuela.
And it's been a little while since we've done some Venezuela coverage here, and I saw this story, and I was kind of surprised, I guess. You know, that one of the difficulties of a bad economy and a bad money system, as we've seen with the Venezuelan bolivar just being inflated beyond the point of no return, to the point where they're so desperate they had to actually knock 5 zeros off of the value of the bolivar in 2018. It was August of 2018, so it's actually been a year now since Venezuela changed from the Bolivar Fuerte, which means strong bolivar. That's what they replaced their old bolivar with when they knocked, I think it was 3 zeros off initially. They took 5 zeros off the Bolivar Fuerte. So imagine taking, we don't have a $500,000 bill, but imagine if we did, and knocking a $500,000 bill down to a $5 bill. That's what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
That's what they did.
That means that their currency became so worthless. The paper currency, the bolivar, had such little value. Let's say a loaf of bread used to be 1 bolivar.
Mm-hmm.
Then before you knocked 5 zeros off it, and that's what you would see. You would see a, what is that, 100,000? No.
Well, you're going in the reverse direction.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So one way to look at it would be, even at $100 in U.S., there's still not even 5 zeros behind it, even if you include the cents. But before they knocked the zeros off, a loaf of bread would have been thousands upon thousands upon thousands of bolivars, if not tens of thousands upon hundreds of thousands of bolivars. It was insane. The amount of inflation was going crazy, and it still is crazy there. And what it's resulted in is it's very difficult to import products. So it's always important to explain why this is. And part of the reason for this is that the products, that you want to buy a pallet full of toilet paper, or what we're going to talk about here, toothpaste. You want to buy a bunch of toothpaste to stock your store with. Well, the guy who wants to sell you, the wholesaler who wants to sell you the toothpaste, doesn't want to sell it to you for the bolivar.
Because it's practically worthless. He wants U.S. dollars because they're a little more stable.
They might take dollars, they might take euros, they'll take anything except for the bolivar. Well, it's hard to get dollars, right? You have to buy them on the black market. You can't go into a Venezuelan bank and exchange bolivars for dollars. They won't allow you to do that.
And let's talk about what hyperinflation means. What that means is the government is inflating their currency. It's so fast that prices...
Way faster than all the other governments in the world, because they're all inflating their currencies.
Right. Even the U.S. dollar is an inflationary currency.
Some are doing it faster, and some are doing it slower than others.
Hyperinflation in Venezuela, as of May, that's the latest number I could quickly find, is, 8,151,194% per month.
That's intense.
Is that per month or is it per year?
Well, I think it would be an annual. No, the actual month-to-month rate, that's a little harder to come by. But it's
very hard to come by because the Venezuelan government several years ago stopped announcing, I think, what you call the M2 numbers. So they are not and have not been giving out any official data about how much they're printing. So the only way to really assess any amount of inflation is, of course, to look at the prices of things and see what the effects of inflation are. Because when inflation happens, when governments increase the money supply, typically you see prices rise as a result.
Yes.
So so it's hard to get a bunch of products if you happen to still be in business, and that's not an easy thing to do either in the situation they've got there. But if you happen to still be in business and you want to get some products, well, you've got to pay with dollars or some other somewhat valuable currency compared to the bolivar, and that's very difficult for people to do because it's not legal for them to do that. So a lot of stuff ends up in the black market, and well, as we've seen with black markets, in many cases, black markets, we've certainly seen it with the black market for drugs, the black market previously in the United States for alcohol during Prohibition. Black market people, many of them aren't concerned with product quality. They're not concerned with customer safety and happiness, and that's apparently now extending to the toothpaste business. We'll get into it.
There's going to be more on that and the effects of inflation. This is the effects of governments behaving badly, not unlike the U.S. This is 8:55. This is Free Talk Live.
.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years with experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's free as in freedom. Free as in Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. That's the number to call to get on the air. You can also hit us up on Discord. Discord is such a cool app. All you got to do is load the app on your phone, on your tablet, on your computer. As long as you got a high-speed internet connection and a quality microphone, you will sound like you are right here in the studio with us. And we're going to take a Discord call here shortly, so you can hear how good it is for yourself, and you can try calling in too. But last hour, we said thank you to Barry, he's an amplifier. He's pledged to send us $10 a month to help advertise, market, and promote the show.
That must mean he's a gold amplifier.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's a silver amplifier.
That's $5 a month. But
$5 a month.
Still appreciated. That's what we ask. That's what we ask folks to do, is to do $5 a month.
I must have been confused because David R. Jeffries is a gold amplifier.
Okay. Well, thank you to all of them.
Yes.
Exactly.
We got two people to thank, and again, the idea.
That's because we forgot to do it the last 2 nights. And by we, I mean me and whoever else was on. Aria.
The purpose of this is we think the message of liberty, the ideas of liberty are important, and this helps us get that message out in more homes, in more ears, and in more minds. So we really appreciate it.
It's amp.freetalklive.com. And the Venezuelan situation is, I think, very instructive when it comes to the ideas of liberty. It gives us the opportunity to talk about inflation and explain how devastating this government policy is to the individual and to society in general. And that's what we're looking at here is apparently toothpaste is suffering now as a result, and we'll get into that. But we were talking about just the money itself, the Bolivar Fuerte, which was the currency, the government currency there until August of 2018, when they lobbed 5 zeros off the end of the various large bills they had there. And then they came out with the Bolivar Soberano, which stands for the sovereign Bolivar, because now it's sovereign currency for sovereign people. And I went back in time, Chris and Riley. I used archive.org, which is the internet's time machine.
Indeed.
Which is really a neat site. If you've never been to archive.org, it's really handy. You can type in a URL, and you can then look at what that site looked like in the past. So you can do it to Free Talk Live site. You can do it to pretty much any site on the internet. Well, the one I went to look at is dollartoday.com. It's DOLAR, dollartoday.com. And I went back to the beginning of September because it took a couple weeks to roll out the changes with the Bolivar in August of last year. So I wanted to see what was the black market rate of how many bolivars you can get. Bolivar Soberano, the new one. How many bolivars can you get for a U.S. dollar on the black market? That's what they tell you at dollartoday.com.
Okay.
So should I tell you what it was in September of 2018 first, or tell you what it is today and then tell you September of 2018?
Your pick.
So let's go back to September of 2018, the very beginning of the month. According to Dollar Today, it was, at that time, the brand new Bolivar Soberano was 75 and change. So you just get just above 75 BSS. Great name, BS, right?
Yeah.
You'd get 75 BSS for $1 US on the black market.
Okay.
Well, fast forward to today at dollartoday.com. Now, if you have a black market connection, and probably everybody does over there.
It's the only way you can get anything.
Right.
Pretty much.
You will get 14,392 Bolivar Soberanos for $1 US. And I did the math. I'm not a math expert here, but a simple division gives you the percentage. And according to my calculations, that is an inflation over the last year of approximately 19,189%.
That is major. I don't think even cryptocurrencies are that volatile.
No, definitely not.
Definitely not that volatile. And what this comes down to is bad monetary policy. And in the case of this, the Venezuelan government cannot tax and raise the money it takes to run a government. The people are too poor, so they can't just tax it. They can't. This is the only way the governments can get funds. They can borrow it.
Oh, but they've been raising the minimum wage.
You can do all that you want. That's just, putting lipstick on a pig.
Right.
But that's the thing. They don't produce anything, so they have to take it through taxation, or they have to borrow it on the promise that their people will pay it back with interest. They're very limited, or they can just print more of it. When they print more of it, that's when you run the risk of high inflation rates or hyperinflation. Now, people listening are probably saying, well, that's Venezuela. Heck, that's a banana republic in South America. That doesn't apply to us. Yes, it does. It's not that hyperinflation can happen here. It will happen here at some point in our future. But your U.S. dollar, this thing you put so much faith in, is an inflationary currency. It runs the same risks, and it suffers the same. What this means is tomorrow your dollar will be worth less in actual purchasing power than it was today.
Exactly, and I think people forget that. And I think people...
I don't think they ever knew it.
Right. Well, maybe some didn't. Maybe some are not paying attention to this fact that, a hamburger, a meal with a hamburger and fries cost around $1 in my parents' day.
Yeah.
And now it costs like $2 or $3 or $4 or $5 or $6 or $7 or $8.
Yeah. A loaf of bread when I was growing up was about 15 cents, 20 cents, and now it's $3.
And when you take into account that it's just paper money and it's not sound money, it's not going to maintain its value over time. When you have something like gold or silver that's tangible and is sound money, it's going to hold its value over time.
An ounce of gold today is worth an ounce of gold.
Exactly.
Now that's going to equate into something different in dollars. So to give you some history, back during the time when we were on the gold standard, it was promised that you could always sell an ounce of gold for $35. Today's gold price is around $1,500. It has appreciated that much against the dollar, even though it has been manipulated too.
So Reuters reporting that Colgate-Palmolive is warning Venezuelans not to buy fake versions of its toothpaste brands, leading local authorities to issue a health warning as demand for imported products in Venezuela's dysfunctional economy encourages the spread of knockoff goods. Now, everybody's heard of knockoff, fancy watches and fancy bags, high-dollar knockoff items.
Yep.
But who's heard of fake Colgate toothpaste?
I haven't.
It would have never crossed my mind.
Well, it's apparently an actual danger to health, and we'll explain. And obviously Colgate wants you to buy their brand, but there's some pretty sound, or at least sounding reasons for that. And we'll explain it coming up here. What's happened?
855 450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
Ike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
The digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way.
You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into their rally.
Walk with me.
Well,
I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video or audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. You ain't gonna make it. Wait a minute.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me? Because you're scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this?
Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. That's a number you can get on to get on the radio to talk about what you want, because this is an open phones show.
If you want to talk about anything you want to talk about, like, I don't know, something different, like Antarctica, you can talk about Antarctica.
You can, or you can talk about what we're talking about, but you're not tied to that. That's the beauty of Free Talk Live. In studio, it's myself, Chris.
I'm Ian.
And Riley.
And we've been talking about Venezuela. We've been talking about inflation. And we haven't really spelled this out, but inflation is the result of your government making prices go up because your dollar is worth less.
And we're going to get into talking about the bad toothpaste, the knockoff toothpaste brands that could be poisonous and dangerous. That's coming up. But first, I'm going to tell you about some great toothpaste. It's actually all natural, and it's from My Magic Mud. That's what I use. They also have their original black tooth powder, which is what built their business. It's made of charcoalized coconut shells and bentonite clay. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth. This product is available in most health food stores, including Sprouts, CVS, Natural Grocers, and Walmart's Natural Beauty aisle. But why bother leaving the house when you can just go to mymagicmud.com and order yours at 20% off with code FTL20, and you don't have to worry that you're going to be getting some sort of questionable knockoff brand, because it's coming straight from the manufacturer when you go to mymagicmud.com. That's code FTL20. And all their products are all natural for you. If you want to swallow the products, totally safe. It's good stuff. MyMagicMud.com, code FTL20. Let's go. We actually have a call from prison on the line, Chris. It's Art calling us from Michigan. Go ahead and pull him up there if you don't mind. Art, you're on Free Talk Live.
Good evening. I want to talk a little bit tonight about criminal justice reform.
All right.
Okay.
About 10 days ago, you folks talked about the death penalty. It was ruled unconstitutional back in 1972 under Furman versus Georgia. And of course, by 1975, it was superseded by statute in many of the states. Right now, just give you some quick facts. 35 of the states have reinstituted the death penalty. 7 of them are not using it, so that equals about 28 left. Now, what's interesting, the former Confederate states, with Oklahoma, the Confederate territory, are doing about 80% of the executions. Just food for thought.
Yeah.
According to the facts that I pulled up. Of course, I'm opposed to the death penalty because the system is so corrupt. But it's important to point out, right now, at the peak years, they're executing a little under 100 people a year, at the peak years.
Wow.
So, just so, I mean, that's a lot of people, but you know what? Right now, on an average, I think it's like 500 people, I think, in the United States commit suicide. I think in a 20-year period, I think there's going to be like 1 million rapes. So it's important that we recognize the death penalty is horrible. The government should have nothing to do with it. Of course, the government kills more people than anybody, but statistically speaking.
Sure.
But it's important to recognize that a third of the people right now are affected by the criminal justice, clearly affected by the criminal justice system, because right now they're arresting approximately between 10 and 15 million people a year in this country.
Yeah.
And, of course, that... I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, and there is no evidence that having a death penalty reduces crime. This is what we're told, that people are going to be scared and they're not going to do these things. Well, if you have evil in your heart, you're going to do evil in your heart.
Exactly, and the death penalty is just a way for people to feel like they're getting a small sense of justice when in reality it's just government killing people.
Sure. And of course, like I said, but the criminal justice system as a whole has to be looked at, because people don't realize this can affect them tonight on their ride home from work or going to their house or whatever, going to play, like I said, because the system is so bad. And once you get in here, there's nothing you can do. Doesn't matter how corrupt it is, no one wants to hear from you. And a good thing people can Google out there is called Rotten Apple or Rotten Barrel, and it's a law review article that's written about the Chicago Police Department, how they were actually taking people to a secret location, stripping them naked, hooking up electrodes to their private parts, and shocking them until they confessed to the murder. And it got so bad that the mayor of Chicago, the governor of Chicago, put a moratorium on the death penalty. And if they look up that law review article, it actually goes into details about it. And so it's important that we look at the things that are going on. That's how the United States has become the prison capital of the world. We've locked up more people. Right now, we probably have more people incarcerated, officially and unofficially, probably than Nazi Germany, Russia, and China combined.
I believe that's true.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at the statistic lately.
It's getting horrible, and like I said, and the people don't eventually stand up and wake up and smell the coffee. We've become, the government's become tyrants in these states. It's not just one state; it's most of the states across the United States, including the federal government. And until people start standing up and looking at the criminal justice system, everybody, the university professors across the United States, majority of them, in the law review articles they've written, all are talking about this very issue. Like I said, it needs reform. The U.S. Congress, you can pull up the U.S. congressional hearings. They're talking about it all the time, from Booker to many of the Black Caucus and stuff. It's completely broken. And like I said, and this is it's a money maker. It's a taxpayer drain on the taxpayer. But the people don't realize what the government's doing. And just like the death penalty, it's all for control. They're doing this to control the people. It's making the streets right now are much less safer than they've ever been, and the prisons are much safer than they've ever been. And people just don't realize it because they hear the buzzwords that get tough on crime and truth in sentencing. It sounds really, really good, but when you look at the real thing, there's so many people in here that are innocent, grandfathers and grandmothers that just should not be in prison. It's just ridiculous the things that they're doing.
If you're listening to this show right now, I'm just going to ask yourself, is there more crime now than there was 20 years ago, or less crime? Now, a lot of you are going to say, well, I mean, I hear about it all the time. There must be more crime. Violent crime has been dropping for decades. It's one of those things. It's happening, and we are led to believe that violent crime is escalating, that we must get tough on crime. We must execute people who meet our definition of executable. And the problem with that is we have technologies now that identify innocent people all the time. This is not going to go away. And my biggest fear, and what I would hate to have if I were on a jury, I would hate to have the blood of an innocent man on my hands. Art, thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
You got to hit the drop.
You're welcome. Have a good night. Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
There you go.
Just that idea that someone you found guilty end up losing their life, and then technology comes along and says, hey, he wasn't the guy. It was this other dude. Well, now we're starting to see that with DNA evidence. And the idea that we would make someone pay the ultimate price, there is no price that you could ask someone to pay that would be greater than to take their life, based on evidence that you're honestly not 100% sure that they did it.
I think we should mention the Innocence Project too, because I think the Innocence Project is designed is working on finding people who are innocent and getting them out of jail.
Yep, that's a great program, and I know Daryl, who used to sit in this chair. Daryl was big on, he was running for the Innocence Project, and in races he would donate money, and that was sort of his pledge. If you pledge me so much, and he raised a good amount of money for those guys. They do great work. Started by Barry Scheck. But just this idea that if they can take a look at all these people sitting on death row, well, they've found dozens of people that are innocent.
More than that.
Provable innocence through DNA testing. And it's not going to stop. But hopefully, I'm just hoping people in Venezuela don't die from bad Colgate. And I do want to hear a little bit more about this.
Yep, we'll get into it. I think we also have a Discord call on the line as well, so that's coming up too.
We got to talk to one of our regular callers, 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Warning. If you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-976-1460. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-976-1460. That's 1-800-976-1460. 1-800-976-1460.
Hi, I'm Dr. Joel Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy, formerly Air Force Lieutenant Colonel, Air National Guard and Reservist. I'm looking for veterans, active duty military personnel to join the 90 for Life crusade to save America. She needs your skills, courage, and loyalty more than ever. Contact GCNteam.com. Because of the financial and healthcare collapse, veterans are currently struggling finding jobs. Frustrated looking for a job? Change your tactics. Join the 90 for Life crusade to save America. Start a healthcare business with FDI Youngevity 90 for Life crusade. Contact GCNteam.com immediately. We're looking for military specialists who can use a computer and communicate information and execute a battle plan. Join the admirals, Navy SEALs, Marines, pilots, Army officers, military police, sheriffs, police officers, firemen, and first responders already enrolled in the 90 for Life crusade. Contact GCNteam.com now. FDI Youngevity will help you apply your military skills to the task of saving America through health and financial programs. Contact GCNteam.com. Enlist in GCNteam.com and save America.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. You can also hit us up on Discord. Discord, you're going to load a little app on your phone, on your tablet, on your laptop. You're going to use your high-speed internet connection and your quality microphone. That's all you need, and you will sound like you are in the studio with us, which sounds pretty dang good. This is in studio. It's Chris.
And Ian.
And Riley.
Riley Blake. Again, thank you for joining us. Riley puts together the daily digest for Free Talk Live. That's a 30-minute summary podcast for people that don't have time to listen to the whole 2.5-3 hour podcast.
It's 20 to 30 minutes, but you know.
Yeah. It's a nice solution, a good alternative for people. And we are going to go to Discord right now, if I can hit all the right keys, and go to Bad Slave. Bad Slave, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Thank you. First off, I want to welcome Riley. It is so good, the work that I know you've been doing.
Thank you.
And you are turning into a pretty top-notch host for FTL.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's
really cool.
And Chris, man, that whole Lyme disease thing, that just is awful. I'm sorry about that. But I was going to talk about the corruption in the town with people their rent-to-own house and all that. And
you're talking about the people who are the government in, what was it, Granite Lake?
Granite City, Illinois.
Granite City, Illinois, where they're going to evict them from their home because they had a guest. They had a guest at one time who was, I guess, a wanted person.
He had stayed at their house a couple times, but at the time he wasn't living there. He was hiding in their crawl space underneath their house.
Right,
That's what they said constituted living.
And somehow that, is a residency, and somehow they're responsible for that.
They shouldn't be held responsible, obviously.
No, of course. But I mean, here's what we're dealing with. Places like Illinois, places like California, and New York, and, this sort of thing would never happen in New Hampshire. Or some other thing might, but New Hampshire's a little bit better government. But even New Hampshire's government is crap. I'm sorry, it's crap.
Well,
And
yeah, saying better government's like saying you're
Yeah,
the
right.
best of
You
the
know,
worst. Congratulations.
I mean, the people, New Jersey's another one, Maryland. I mean, these states have just completely given up on protecting, rights for people, which was the original, implementation of government, and people are just, it's the boiling frogs thing. I mean, people are putting up with crap. And
not to go back to the U.S. Constitution and the founding fathers, when the country came about, most states already had a constitution before the federal constitution was, and most states recognized there are a lot of rights that we're going to name a few and say that government should have nothing to do with these things. We can't legislate them because they're part of the human condition. This is part of being human. You can't do anything about it. So it wasn't just that, we're going against the ideas put forth in the Constitution. We're going against ideas that states have held sacred since they became states. And it's just, I don't know how anyone looks at themselves in the eye and says, yeah, we're on the right path here.
Something like common law is something that's been established by the people, in the, the English Western world, to some degree, I guess, is been taken on in Europe and what have you. And they're abandoning that. They had lots of arrangements that I'd say some couple of centuries ago worked fairly well. And
some of these ideas go back to Cicero. They go back to the Magna Carta.
Right. Well, exactly. And they they peaked out in the early Americas, after the Declaration of Independence, and then they started going downhill from there. And I think there's a deliberate, pattern to the people that are above the actual states involved, including, our central government. I think there are people that have an agenda that, they love power and want to, make sure that we don't have it ourselves.
Yep.
And I'm saying is all we need to do is basically reclaim it and say, we don't consent to this anymore. Thank you very much. We're done. If we got somewhere between 15 and maybe 25% of the population thinking that way, and that's why this liberty migration is so important, because we can get that number of people, I think, pretty easily in pretty short order.
I think you're right. And I know we're not going to get, we're not going to take over every house of government here in New Hampshire, and that's not the idea. The idea is to educate our neighbors.
The idea is to bring more people to the ideas of liberty, and I look at it this way. It's more of a movement to plant seeds and get people moving in the right direction rather than forcing our will on the populace.
Well, you can't take over a government without convincing people to elect you to that government anyway. So really, it's a numbers game any way you slice it. You've got to have more people who care about freedom moving to New Hampshire as part of this New Hampshire freedom migration. So the more people can then they can then influence their neighbors in a positive way towards understanding and hopefully embracing the ideas of freedom. But if we fail at that, then we'll never get anywhere.
This assumes that we want to do it all peacefully, and we don't want to do it the way governments do it. Governments would just subvert and use violence to overthrow the government they didn't like, and they would put in a new government that they did like. That's how it works, and we don't need to play by their games.
So, do you want to get back into toothpaste?
Tell me more. I just want to know kind of what exactly the message is out of this.
Bad toothpaste is on the market, black market specifically, in Venezuela, and Colgate-Palmolive has issued a warning that was then followed up by the Venezuelan National Hygiene Institute. Colgate said in a statement Monday that it had alerted Venezuelan's health authorities to the potential risk of the, quote, commercialization and use of these falsified products without giving any further details. However, the National Hygiene Institute said it had determined that some toothpaste claiming to be from Colgate did not contain fluoride. Their use posed a health risk because of possible microbiological contamination, said the Institute in a public report. Basically, this fake Colgate knockoff brand Chinese manufactured Colgate is manufactured under questionable circumstances. We don't know where. We don't know who.
Somebody actually tested it.
Yeah.
They did it, and it doesn't have fluoride in it. For half our listeners, they're probably going, finally, a fluoride-free toothpaste.
Except it's got bacteria of some kind.
Well, that's the concern.
That's the concern.
They cooked up a batch of this stuff, and who knows under what quality control. We have no idea. The Institute didn't mention any reports of health problems, but did ask Venezuelans to report if any occurred. The toothpaste had been imported from China, Mexico, and Thailand, and had the same color scheme and design as some of Colgate's genuine brands available in Venezuela.
Okay, I can probably go to half a dozen knockoff shops and buy the same sort of stuff here in America. My point is that just because the government doesn't say a product is safe, that is not a stamp of approval. We face that issue with products in the United States all the time. Every drug recall started out with a drug that was safe and effective.
Exactly. And there are always some sort of food recalls going on too. So the FDA not keeping necessarily safe.
I wish we could privatize that and just have people trust certain people.
Exactly.
855 450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
You're not a wild animal, and you shouldn't be tagged and tracked like one. Where you go and what you do every minute of the day, tracked and recorded by your mobile phone, is often more revealing than your browser history. And tech companies make a fortune selling your location history without your consent. GoDark bags prevent location tracking and protect your privacy by instantly blocking all cell phone, GPS, and Wi-Fi signals to your mobile device. Plus, they're durable, water-resistant, and built for a lifetime of protection. Visit GoDarkbags.com/FTL. That's GoDarkbags.com/FTL.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,502, silver at $16.96, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,930. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, the morning of Jeffrey Epstein's death, shouting and shrieking could be heard from his jail cell, according to CBS News, while guards attempting to revive him were saying, "Breathe, Epstein, breathe." The Mind Unleashed reports that Epstein, who was reportedly in good spirits recently, meeting with his lawyers for up to 12 hours a day to discuss his case, was found hanging in his lower Manhattan jail cell with a bedsheet around his neck, which was reportedly secured to the top of a bunk bed. On Monday, Attorney General William Barr said the Epstein case was personally important to him and that the prison had, quote, serious irregularities, end quote. Notably, the staff at MCC reportedly violated prison protocol by failing to check on the high-profile inmate every 30 minutes. Epstein, whose defense attorney successfully lobbied for him to be taken off suicide watch about a week before he was found dead, was also supposed to have a cellmate. In a rare show of bipartisanship, the House Judiciary Committee has sent a letter to the acting director of the Bureau of Prisons demanding answers. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Farmers facing record bankruptcies and collapsing incomes due to President Donald Trump's escalating trade war with China were not amused by U.S. Agriculture Secretary Sonny Perdue's joke about their economic pain during an event in Minnesota last week. Perdue told an audience of thousands of farmers gathered in a barn near Morgan, Minnesota, quote, "I had a farmer tell me this in Pennsylvania." And then the punchline, quote, "What do you call two farmers in a basement? A wine cellar," end quote. Some laughed at the Agriculture Secretary's joke, but other farmers booed and denounced Perdue's wisecrack as callous and tone-deaf mockery of the real hardship caused by the Trump administration's trade policies. Perdue's characterization of struggling farmers as whiners came after the Trump administration announced it will impose a 10% tariff on $300 billion of Chinese goods starting September 1st, a significant escalation in the ongoing trade war between the two global powers. It looks as though something big was taking place around Area 51 over the weekend, according to fragmented reports from various sources compiled by The Drive. The Mind Unleashed reports that the report notes that significant tests could have been happening over the weekend after learning that notices to airmen had been published that mark certain areas within the Nevada Test and Training Range off limits to any air traffic at any altitude. The notices to airmen are generally for military air crews, not civilian or commercial air traffic. They were first pointed out by an aviation enthusiast on Twitter. In addition to the notices, there were also reports of odd Janet flights, the nickname for the nonstop flights to Area 51 from Las Vegas's airport by onlookers. This activity was described as unusual and is speculated to be indicative of a major test event near Area 51. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
The producers of Sesame Street have responded to the controversy over the recent New Yorker cover that showed Bert and Ernie as a gay couple celebrating the repeal of DOMA. Sesame Workshop released a statement today saying, quote, "We have never viewed Bert and Ernie as a gay couple, but as two friends who will do absolutely anything to get their rocks off. These pansexual perverts cannot be categorized in your narrow gay, straight, or bisexual paradigm. They're into some pretty sick shit." On their website, PBS released a long list of the duo's strange sexual fetishes, which range from shoving ice into their anuses so that they can shit cold water into women's mouths, to castrating stray dogs and then masturbating onto the animals' bleeding wounds. Although they're flattered that fans have turned the characters into gay icons, the producers explained that calling them gay would be inaccurate. Quote, "They will literally f*** anything that moves." The producers also added that Oscar the Grouch is neither male nor female, and that its trash can is designed to hide a lower body that is just a Lovecraftian monstrosity of hundreds of interlocking penises and vaginas.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. 855 450 free. That's free as in freedom, free as in no. Those of you with a confused sense of economics, there is no such thing as a free lunch.
That's right. Somebody's got to pay for it somehow.
And usually that's through your taxes. 855-450-3733. That's our toll-free number. That's how you can get on the air. You can also use Discord. You can find out more at discord.lrn.fm. But basically, it's just an app you load on your phone, load it on your laptop, do whatever you like. Use your high-speed internet connection and your quality microphone, and you will sound like you're here in the studio. But the feds, I just got to bring this up, they've been busy. You know, that you had this Dayton shooter. This was one of two recent mass shootings.
Is this the guy that shot up the bar?
This is the guy who shot up the bar.
Okay.
And he had a friend. Apparently, one would think it was an accomplice, according to this headline. Friend of Dayton gunman bought him a body armor and a firearm accessory earlier this year. Oh, dear God. This is what the feds are saying. This comes to us from WLWT. That's a Cincinnati station. And the story comes to us from the Associated Press. According to federal investigators, a friend of accused Dayton shooter Connor Betts helped him assemble the AR-15 used in the Oregon District mass shooting on August 4th. Now, for those of you who may not be familiar with federal firearms laws, I don't believe there's a federal law against helping someone assemble an AR-15. Now, this guy undoubtedly is going to feel horrible because he helped a guy do it who is accused of shooting up a lot of people.
You would hope he would feel horrible for being a helper in the act of killing people, but
well, how would he have known?
Yeah, I have no idea. But the point is, there is certainly no law against helping someone assemble an AR-15. AR-15s can be assembled with, there are different parts on an AR-15. There's accessories, there's the upper receiver, there is the lower receiver. You got to have all these things put together, and this guy helped out. Ethan Coley, 24, was arrested late Friday night on federal charges. What federal charges? Although those charges grow out of a mass shooting investigation, authorities do not regard Coley as a co-conspirator. Well, you certainly wouldn't know it by reading this article, which is based on, according to federal investigators, they're having an investigation into a mass shooting, and they bring up Ethan Coley, but saying he was not a co-conspirator. Quote, Mr. Coley does not stand accused of intentionally participating in the planning of that shooting, unquote, stated U.S. Attorney Benjamin Glassman. Then why are we talking about him? Quote, we have no evidence that there's no allegation of that, unquote. So exactly what are the feds doing? They're holding a press conference.
It says here at the CNN piece that I just pulled up that they have charged him with possession of a firearm by someone who illegally uses or is addicted to a controlled substance.
And that is all there is to this story. Federal authorities say Culley lied on a federal form about illegal drug use in order to purchase firearms. So when you buy a gun, a handgun certainly, and you go through a FFL or a federally licensed firearms dealer, then you are required to fill out a federal form. And part of that form, it asks you several questions. Have you ever denounced your citizenship in the United States? That's one of the questions.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I have.
Are you a user or are you addicted to or a user of illegal drugs? And they've amended that form to say, yes, that does include marijuana, even if it's legal in your state. These are things that should bar one from being able to purchase a gun. Apparently, at some point, he did say, nope, I'm not a user and I'm not addicted. Federal authorities say Culley lied on federal forms about that illegal drug use and order. According to an affidavit, Culley admitted...
Is that what he's being... I mean, is that what this... Okay, so I've never heard of this charge before.
I've never heard of it being...
It's a mouthful. Possession of a firearm by someone who illegally uses or is addicted to a controlled substance. Does that mean that he's being charged because he lied on the form? Or
Yes.
because he had a joint with him at some point and also owns a gun? Is that also a crime?
Yes.
Wow.
You can't own a gun and honestly answer. If you honestly answer that question,
No, I mean,
you're not
what if he
allowed
didn't
to.
answer the question? Like, what if he just bought a gun from another individual
In this,
and never filled out this form?
then he would not have an issue because that's only if you're buying through a federal firearms
Well,
license.
my question is this charge, does it only apply to people who have filled out this form?
Yes.
Or can they say, go on a Facebook profile, find a picture with the guy with a blunt in his hand, and then in the other in his pocket or whatever in his belt, there's a gun sitting there, a
Right.
joint in one hand, gun in the other, kind of thing.
The feds would probably. I don't think they would. I don't think they'd even care. I don't think they'd even search yet.
But that may be coming down the road.
Well, they would have to prove that the joint was actually a joint, number one.
Number one.
And that the gun was a real gun, number two. So that might be hard to do. But aren't they using social media in this case to say he lied on the form?
Absolutely.
So they're
And-
still going to have to prove that that was real marijuana, right?
Well, in this case,
or whatever it was,
they did. Apparently, they had an affidavit from him. He probably said, "Looking at this picture, it looks like you got a fatty." And did you have a fatty? Well, yeah, I did have a fatty.
Are you saying that he was actually interviewed by the agents and gave up information about himself?
I can't tell you that. According to this, Culley admitted to buying body armor, which does not require any special licensing in most states. I've bought body armor at just at a gun show. And I didn't have to fill out any FFL forms or anything like that. That's just not part of it. And he also bought parts of an AR-15 and a double drum magazine for bets. All were used during the August 4th shooting that left 9 people dead. He would have never been considered had the shooting not happened. But because the shooting did happen, then he's being questioned.
It does say here that when they searched his house, they did seize a couple pistols, a water pipe, and a substance believed to be psychedelic mushrooms.
Oh, my God.
He's also been charged, in addition to being someone who uses a controlled substance possessing a firearm, also charged with making false statements with respect to information required by the Federal Firearms Code.
This article says, according to federal agents, Culley and Betts were friends who regularly used hard drugs, marijuana, and acid together for about 5 years ago.
See, doing acid turns you into a mad killer.
This whole story it's insane. So first of all, buying body armor in most states is not illegal. Buying firearms accessories or buying firearms parts is not illegal, but we have to demonize him because he did these things. And guess what? He's used drugs, which I've heard that many members of Congress have also done.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they have, I'm sure.
So I don't know if it says this in the version that you have, but the CNN piece says the 24-year-old allowed agents to search his home.
Oh, bad move.
So that is a very bad move. I mean,
right. So they came to talk to him about the shooter, and he was like, "Oh yeah, come on in." And then they found marijuana, saw a water pipe, and found a pistol and found the mushrooms.
And because you wanted to be a good guy and talk to the police, you are now facing federal charges.
And he admitted to doing marijuana and LSD with bets. He admitted that to the cops.
Those are horrible accusations.
Close your mouth
8:55.
when the cops talk to you.
Yes.
This is Free Talk Live.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20. I am giving away $100 in Bitcoin Cash on September 2, 2019. And I'm not giving it away because I like giving away money, quite the contrary. It's because I need a favor. Please go to demo.freetalklive.com and fill out the survey there as thoroughly as you like. There's an optional email slot, and if you put your email in there, you will forever be signed up for whatever prize I'm giving to incentivize people that month to fill out my form. Advertisers need this info on our listeners, so fill it out as truthfully as you can, please. Demo.freetalklive.com.
Do you wish you made more money or the same money on less hours? Do you wish you could do whatever you wanted in your dating or relationship life? Do you wish you could go wherever you wanted, whenever you wanted? There's another way to live. I'm Caleb Jones, and my staff and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income, location-independent businesses and how to date women under your terms. Go to freelifeinfo.com to download 7 free books and podcasts so you can live a life like this too.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number, 855-450 855-450-3733. This is Chris, and I have Lyme's disease, which affects my mind. It always makes it fun.
Lyme Talk Live.
Lyme Talk. That's what it should be. In studio, joining me is...
It's Ian.
And Riley.
Riley Blake of the Free Talk Live Daily Digest, the producer of that. He has been joining us in studio, and it's great to have you. We've been talking about firearms laws because... a friend of the Ohio shooter, Connor Betts, I don't even like to say these guys' name, a friend of his evidently bought him some body armor and bought him some parts because he didn't want to keep them at his house because he was afraid his mom would find them. The feds have gone after this kid, this friend of his, 24-year-old, because... he filled out an FFL. It's basically the form you fill out at a federally licensed firearms dealer.
Mistake number 1.
Yep. When you fill one of those out, it asks you a number of questions. So you got your name, address.
And you're under the oath of perjury, right?
You betcha. You are lying to the feds if you don't answer this truthfully.
They don't like that.
They don't, but they'll lie to you.
Are you the actual person who is buying or transferring a weapon? You have to be the actual person. You can't do this for somebody else. 2, are you an indictment or information in any way in any court? Are you being indicted for a felony or any other crime of which a judge could impose you for more than 1 year? Could imprison you for more than 1 year.
There's a lot of questions here.
Not too many. Have you ever been convicted of a felony or another crime? And the whole bar is anything that a judge could imprison you for more than 1 year. Are you a fugitive from justice? If you answer yes, no gun for you. Here's the one that caught this guy. Are you an unlawful user of or addicted to marijuana or any depressant, stimulant, narcotic drug, or any other controlled substance? Warning, the use or possession of marijuana remains unlawful under federal law regardless of whether it's been legalized or decriminalized for medicinal or recreational purposes in the state where you reside. If you are a user of marijuana in any way, even if it's legal in your state, and if you were to answer yes, then you are denied the ability to purchase a gun. Have you ever been educated as a mental defective or committed to a mental institution by a judge? That will get you done. Have you ever been discharged from the armed forces under dishonorable conditions? That will prevent you from buying again.
You'll see, I mean, all these questions are obviously stopping all these killers from getting guns.
They don't stop any of them. And not all of them. Oftentimes they'll come back and
questions.
Say, and when they say, well, he bought the gun legally, that means that he filled out one of these forms. Have you been convicted of domestic violence? Have you ever had a restraining order? Been accused of harassing, stalking, or threatening a child? That'll get you. Have you ever renounced your U.S. citizenship? That will keep you from
What if I don't
buying
believe
one.
in citizenship?
Yeah, what if we don't believe that we are U.S. citizens?
Then you would answer, have you ever renounced your U.S. citizenship?
Well, I wouldn't be filling out the form.
Exactly. But the point is you probably haven't renounced it, so I'd say sure.
Well, renouncing it is some sort of a legal procedure that, as I understand it. But, they don't give definitions for what they mean by these words. Will I renounce it? Yes, I renounce it. I don't believe in it.
Right.
I don't think that it exists.
And they will say that doesn't count. You didn't go through our formal renouncement. You didn't go to the State Department. You didn't do all this stuff.
Whenever you're filling out one of these forms, you are in grave danger, because if you don't understand a question, and you answer it, now I don't know what the last part says, but it's hard to get out of any kind of charges of perjury in this case. They believe you understood completely the questions that you were reading, and you answered them how you answered them, and they're going to put you in a prison cell. This guy's looking at 15 years in prison.
15 years in jail.
That's 15 years of his life he's not getting back.
Well, he hasn't been sentenced yet, but he's being charged, and that's what he's potentially facing. And he talked himself right into it. His major mistake was talking to the police. Number one, he let agents search his home. Didn't have to do that. They didn't have a warrant.
Nope.
That's why they asked. So if they ask you to, I'm not a lawyer, this isn't legal advice, but as my understanding is, if they ask you to search, that means they don't have any legal ability to search on their own. Because if they did, they wouldn't ask. If they had a warrant, they'd just come right in.
How about you're really a citizen? What's your country of citizenship? Is it the United States of America? You're going to be okay. Any other country, then you get some more questions. Are you an illegal alien? Are you unlawfully in the United States? Are you an alien who has been admitted to the United States under a non-immigrant visa? If yes, do you fall with any of the exceptions? And I give some. Are you an alien, revoked your U.S. issued alienship or administration
I don't want to go through any
number?
more of these questions.
That's it. That's all of them. They really want to know, are you here legally?
I just saw page 1 of 6, and so I'm thinking, oh my God.
Oh God, no. It's 6 or 7 questions you got to answer, if you want to buy a gun through a FFL, through a federal firearms licensee. And again, the alternative is if you can find a gun you can buy from somebody else, if they're willing to attest that, hey, I know the guy, no big deal, they're free to sell you a gun. That's a legal thing. You can do that. Most people think, well, I got to go to a gun shop. The government has to be involved. In most states, no, the government doesn't have to be involved.
It shouldn't be involved.
No, and most people don't realize that there's all sorts of legal things that you can do in procuring firearms.
But what about dangerous people? How do we prevent dangerous people from getting guns? Should we prevent dangerous people from getting guns?
No.
You can't.
You can't.
Right.
So why would you infringe upon the rights of everybody else? That's my argument. You can say we're going to impose 50, 60, 70, 1,000 questions you must answer truthfully under penalty of law, and all that does is increase the number of people who are denied. That is infringing on their rights.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no indication that they've come up with magic questions that will instantly, I know what they should add. Have you ever planned or intend to plan a mass shooting? Yes or no?
That'll
Answering
stop so
yes.
many people.
Yeah, if I answer yes, they're probably not going to give it to me, so I'm going to say no.
Right, and that's why this guy lied about smoking cannabis, because he wanted to get a gun.
Right.
And he told a lie on the form, and then when agents came to interview him again, so after allowing them to enter his home, and then they smelled marijuana and saw a water pipe and saw a pistol, then they later interviewed him. So I guess they didn't arrest him right then. They later interviewed him again, and that's when he told them that he'd done hard drugs. And he further told them he'd smoked marijuana every single day for the past decade, told the agents that.
Because why would he think that should be a big deal? 855, 450 free. It's probably legal where he lives. This is Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. That's the number you call to get on the radio and talk about what's on your mind. We're going to bring up topics. We've got to fill some quiet time. We can't have that happen. So we've been talking about this guy who was a friend of the Ohio mass shooter. He bought the guy some body armor. He bought him some firearms accessories. He helped him assemble a gun. But none of those things are against the law. What he did do was several years ago when he purchased a firearm, he said that no, he was not a user or addicted to any drugs. And that's basically what the feds want to know. Are you now, or are you now? It's basically a present tense question. Are you now? Are you addicted or a user of? And
it wasn't have you ever been? It was just are you now?
Yeah, it's not have you ever tried marijuana? It is are you a user of, or and I would, in my best Cheech and Chong voice say, not right now, man.
Right.
Because I'm in a gun.
Put the joint out before I walked in the gun store.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be smoking a blunt in a gun shop. But that, who knows? People probably have.
Well, now, what does it mean to be a user? Right. It says, "Are you now a user?" What does that mean?
Well,
does someone that takes marijuana once a month, are they a user?
Takes it.
I don't know.
Takes it once.
Good question.
How many times a day do you shoot the marijuana? That's the whole thing. And I guarantee you, the feds have something buried in some statute, some federal statute, that defines a user of marijuana as anybody who has ever thought about marijuana.
Could be.
It's probably one of those things.
I don't want to find out. And the only way you're going to find out is the way this guy did.
Yeah.
Which is to say, lie on the form or even fill out the form in the first place to give them the opportunity to go after you, and that's what they did.
We're going to go to the phones where we've got Mike calling in from Gold Bar, Washington. You're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hi. I just wanted to say in 2011, I was prosecuted non-felony domestic violence. I mowed my lawn one day, and I went and cleaned up the mess and trimmed the hedge the next day, so I got arrested twice. Got a $300 fine, 2 years probation. So I've been clear of that for 7 years. That court says there's nothing that says that you can't own a gun, but I can't pass a background check. Plus, I watched Reefer Madness twice, so I'm definitely not going to consider smoking marijuana. Do I dare buy a gun from a friend that knows that I'm an okay guy? Because I am a law-abiding citizen.
So I don't think there's anything in federal law. I can't speak for you're in Washington State, correct?
Correct, yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't know how crazy things are in Washington State, but there should be nothing impeding a person-to-person transaction.
Chris is not an attorney. This is not legal advice.
And what he said times 10. I don't even play one on television.
Right.
But the idea is that you should be able to conduct a private transaction. That includes firearms. That's traditionally what most law has been. And when you do this sort of thing, when somebody sells you a gun, then there should be no license to no application to the government to say, "Mother, may I?" Now, in some cases, when you're doing transfers and things like that, the person may feel obligated to fill out a form of some kind indicating that a transaction has occurred. But that doesn't have to be a government form. He can
You're talking
give
about
you
like a bill of sale?
a bill of sale or something like that. I think there are some more formal things that some people would do to be a little bit more careful. But the idea is, if you know the person, and you're
How long do I have to know somebody to know a person?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's any real defined limit.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for taking the call, and it's a great show.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for calling. The idea that you should have to get permission from your government to defend oneself. Now, it was obviously different in the case of the Ohio shooter or in the case of any murderer. I'm not going to defend them, and I'm not going to say, boy, I sure hope we can get more guns into the hands of more mass shooters. That's not my intent.
No, it's not our intent. We just want to make sure that the average person is protected in their rights.
And that is the point. It's that we could real easily make a whole bunch of laws that would make it virtually impossible for a mass shooter to actually purchase a firearm. But guess what? That would make it virtually impossible for you listening at home on your radio dial to legally purchase a firearm. And you shouldn't be subjected to that, and nobody else should too. That's called infringing. Infringing means there's a lot of definitions, but one of it, which is making it difficult. That is infringing. If you are making something difficult, are you introducing speed bumps to exercising a particular right? Now, keep in mind, we were talking about this off air a little bit ago, but there is no Second Amendment doesn't have anything to do with semi-automatic weapons. It has nothing to do really with any weapons other than to say, government, you can't make laws about this, so go make laws about something else. That's what it comes down to. It is a law forbidding government from getting involved in tools that can be used for your own self-defense, whether that's
you're talking about the Second Amendment?
The Second Amendment.
Yep. Well, it didn't work.
It didn't work. And why didn't it work? That's a good question. Well,
because laws are a bunch of crap.
Governments don't follow laws.
Right.
And laws are just words written on paper backed by violence.
I like how Mark Stevens puts it. He calls them opinions backed by a gun.
Yeah.
That's
really boils it down.
It does.
Yeah.
Back in 1787 to 1789, they felt it was important to write these things down. And they felt that these should apply to everyone born here, even if that was 250 years ago. So that's the system of government we still got. But the Bill of Rights...
Hopefully not for much longer.
Hopefully not for much longer. I would agree with that.
Secession now.
Yes, absolutely secession, brother.
It can't happen soon enough. I mean, who wants this federal government around anyway?
I don't. I know a lot of people who would say, I don't like our federal government. They think it's corrupt. But at the same time, they just want to vote for more people, and hopefully something will fix itself. It's not going to fix itself.
Well, they're good at, it's the carrot. The government always has the carrot out. If whatever your group is, if you are unhappy, we can give you something. Right. And they don't talk so much about the stick part, which is we'll back it up with violence if we need to. They won't tell you. They won't be open about the fact that we're going to tax you for everything we give you. But these are all things that happen.
Well, now they're going to put a man who has never harmed another person possibly into prison for up to 15 years because he didn't fill out a form correctly.
Yeah.
That's just a silly reason to put someone behind bars.
And they'll pat themselves on the back the whole way along, talk about how this is important because we've got to teach people a lesson about form filling.
Yeah, exactly. And
we got to follow the law, Ian.
Well, they are getting a dangerous marijuana user. I was going to say off the streets,
putting
but I
him
guess
in prison where he can, find heroin and all kinds of other stuff.
Exactly. You can't keep. I was going to say keep a marijuana user off the streets, but really you're just keeping him off of his couch with the Doritos.
Now he'll have to pay 10 times as much for his marijuana because he's behind bars.
Yeah, that's
what Mark says. Says it's like 10 times more expensive, and you get the worst weed.
That is, it's insanity. The idea that they can solve a war on drugs when they can't keep it out of our prisons. It's pretty insane to think. 855-450-FREE. What do you think? Give me a call. This is Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you could move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep REM sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry my pillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever. You can buy one of my pillows and get one absolutely free.
Go to mypillow.com or call 800-870-0305 and use promo code GCN. That's mypillow.com or 800-870-0305 with promo code GCN.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. It's our final segment. We've been doing 3 hours of radio, and we always want callers. Always.
Yes.
No matter when. So
they bring up great discussion topics, and they can liven the show up rather than having us three pontificate over...
We don't need to pontificate. We pontificate too much. But we do have to talk about something. So we've been bringing in stories, and one of the stories we brought in was this friend of the Ohio mass shooter who bought the mass shooter some firearms accessories, some body armor, and he ended up getting arrested because why? He talked to investigators, and they found out that he had bought a gun at some point in the past. And when you are asked questions. One of them has to do with drug use. You have to answer no, or you're not allowed to buy a gun. He was honest. He said, hell, man, I smoke pot every day. He did say he was a daily user of marijuana. And even if it were legal where he lives, as far as the feds go, it is still against federal law. And if you lie to a fed when you're filling out that form, then you're going to lose your rights. In this case, he's
going to go to prison, maybe.
He could end up in jail for 15 years, which is just insane. We are going to go to the Discord where we've got Turd Ferguson.
Hey guys.
Hey.
How you doing?
Thanks for having me on the show tonight. I appreciate you guys taking my call. So briefly, just because it's the last segment of the show, I did want to bring up this guy, Andrew Yang, who has been really bugging me lately.
Has he? Does he have your home phone number or something?
No, not bugging me in that sense. But I mean, I think the last time I called, I did say that I may vote Democrat at this election for Tulsi Gabbard potentially. But I think Andrew Yang, to be honest, is one of the worst candidates on the Democratic ticket right now, in my opinion. And specifically, there was an incident, I think it was about a week ago now, or sometime recent, or maybe a few days ago, where he was being really disingenuous, and it really made me mad because it was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And he basically faked cried in front of a bunch of people. There was this woman.
I did see that. I did. Yeah. Well, see the headline. I don't follow anything,
dude.
Until
the video
in the primaries.
Okay, so going onto YouTube and watching the video of this is so worth it. It'll be totally worth the 3 minutes of the length of the video, and here's why. Because there's a woman there that stands up and talks about how her 4-year-old daughter was shot, which is very sad, and like one of these mass shootings.
Okay.
And it's totally sad. And this is the first thing he does. He goes, "Can I give you a hug? Is that appropriate?" And then he goes and gives her a hug, which is ridiculous. It's so stupid, and that alone made me want to vomit. But then after,
wait a minute, what's wrong with giving somebody a hug?
What's wrong with that?
Because it was totally disingenuous, and you can tell he was just pandering. That's
Okay.
why it was in a total pandering manner. And if you watch the video, you'll see what I mean. But then after that, this was even worse. So after that, he gets back up on the stage and he starts fake crying and he's like, "I was imagining my son and his brother seeing him get shot," and he's fake crying.
How do you know it's a fake cry though?
Well, that's a great way to conjure up some tears on the spot if you need them.
Yeah.
Imagine your child. That's horrible.
Yeah, but he's not even producing any tears, and he doesn't even sound like he's actually crying. That's the most pathetic part. It's so pathetic and it's so disingenuous that it will make you laugh.
Hold on.
Sick at the same time.
Turd Ferguson, I think you've provided a scoop. Evidently, according to Turd Ferguson, when politicians are running for office, they may lie.
Oh,
news.
Yeah,
news you can use, man.
At that slightly.
No, it is. These are the types of things I expect out of national politics. Now, if I go vote for somebody on my local school board, I'm probably not going to see fake tears. If I vote for somebody, even at the state level, it's not going to be all that. I don't really like to involve myself in national politics.
Sure.
Well,
that's when. Well, that doesn't surprise me, because that's when you're going to get the number one biggest panderers, the number one biggest liars, the number one biggest murderers. The federal government is the worst and the most deadly and violent out of all of them.
You're right. Turd, thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we'd have to see it. And I've got it pulled up here, but I'm not where you're sitting.
Oh, that's okay.
I can't make any judgments about it because I can't hear the actual audio. I can see him. He does one of those cry moves where he sort of puts his hand over his eyes. It's one of those moves.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just not surprising to me that he would be disingenuous. And
yeah, I believe Turd Ferguson. I just want to be clear. I mean, I think he's probably right. This person's probably a sociopath. I mean, he pretty much has to be.
Most politicians are sociopaths.
Right. To run for office, especially for president, you pretty much have to be. So, is he manipulating or attempting to manipulate this audience? I suspect he probably is.
Of course he is. We're going to stay on the phones where we've got Jim calling in from Jim from Iowa. Jim, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I see all this trouble the United States is having with race, and communists are trying to take over.
The communists are trying to take over?
Well, they're trying to win the election. Sanders and all the other communists, they're all socialist communists.
I mean, don't you think the communists have already won? I mean, we've been through the Communist Manifesto before on this show, and I think we counted up like 7 or 8 out of the 10 planks have already been implemented in the United States.
Okay, I sort of agree with you. Here's the deal.
And the Republicans helped do that.
No country in the history of the world has ever survived more than one generation when they have allowed the filthy homosexuals to take over.
Really?
Come on, really? You're going to blame this problem on homosexuals?
Yeah,
You think somebody's sexual preference is the problem?
God says they're depraved, they degrade their bodies, they're abomination, and they will not hear.
Why did Why did God make an abomination?
That kind of goes against the whole.
He didn't make them.
What?
He didn't make liars. He did not make liars. He did not make thieves. He did not make adulterers.
So God didn't
He did not make fornicators. Everyone has free will, and if you do what's against God's will, you're going to pay for it. And that's why this country is going to pay for it.
So even though let me get this straight. They were made in God's. No, I'm asking you because I'm curious. Homosexuals were made in God's image.
But then they decided to be depraved and degrade their bodies.
And
now they're abomination.
They had free will.
They're not going to inherit the kingdom of God, and they have free will. Just like liars,
what about the
everybody like
animals?
that.
What about the animals who who there's like homosexual behavior basically amongst the animal kingdom?
That's not true. That's not true.
Actually, I think it is true.
Gay
and
frogs?
You don't know what you're talking about, as you don't
really?
know what you're talking about.
You've been out looking for animal
subject?
sex videos? Is that what you're saying?
Why change? I'm just telling you what I know.
Does God say that you can have sex with animals? Is that okay?
I'm not talking about the animals. I'm talking about people. Why change the subject?
Well, Leviticus covers a whole lot of things. So am I an abomination because I like lobster?
Back then, when God gives a law, he knows why he's giving the law. He gives it. It's not really...
Hold on.
If you obey him, you're all right. If you're not, then you're going to pay for it.
Well, God said in Leviticus that I can't eat shrimp. I like shrimp. And he didn't issue another...
In the New Testament,
No. He did not come out in the New Testament. There's no reference to shrimp, as far as I know, anywhere other than Leviticus. So tell me, am I allowed to... Can I eat shrimp? I just want to know if I can eat a shrimp cocktail.
Our thoughts are not God's thoughts. Our ways are not God's ways. If God says something, just like when the people were killed.
This guy can't have a conversation. He just keeps going back to the same.
That's okay. I just want to know if I can eat a damn shrimp cocktail and not go to hell.
I have a conversation.
You haven't answered the dude's question. Chris asked you a question like 5 times now. You just keep talking.
The New Testament.
Okay,
the New Testament, we're not judged by what we eat anyway. So that's changed anyway.
Oh, see.
So God changed his mind.
Now you're not. Now you're going to hell because you're fornicating, Chris. You've got a girlfriend.
What?
Fornicators are. The Bible says fornicators, adulterers, are not inherit the kingdom of God.
Get ready to burn.
I mean, you can laugh at. God is not mocked. I'll guarantee you. You can argue with God all you want to, but I'll guarantee you're not going to win.
I can't win if you don't. No, you talk about things that... No, listen.
I love how this guy calls at the very end of the show, so
I know.
We can't hold on because we're done.
And we're out of time.
Call earlier some other time,
please do. Call next Thursday.
Ridiculous. Call anytime.
I would love to have a good ridiculous call. Thanks for your call. Hey, we're out of time.
Enjoy those hellfires.
I do. I just want to know if I'm going to go to hell for eating a shrimp cocktail, and that was too much to ask, I guess.
You're going to hell for eating something, but it's not shrimp. See you tomorrow.
Thanks for joining.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite. Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies.
There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale, totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock is next after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,502. Silver at $16.96, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,930. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, the morning of Jeffrey Epstein's death, shouting and shrieking could be heard from his jail cell, according to CBS News, while guards attempting to revive him were saying, "Breathe, Epstein, breathe." The Mind Unleashed reports that Epstein, who was reportedly in good spirits recently, meeting with his lawyers for up to 12 hours a day to discuss his case, was found hanging in his lower Manhattan jail cell with a bedsheet around his neck